She came to Hollywood chasing dreams, but what they found was a nightmare. You know, there are some stories that never leave you. They linger in the back of your mind like a shadow you can't shake. And in the world of true crime, there's one case that still sends chills through Los Angeles, and honestly, through the whole country. It's the kind of story that makes you stop and wonder how something so horrifying could have happened, and how it could still remain unsolved after almost 80 years. I'm talking about the infamous Black Dahlia case, the brutal murder of Elizabeth Short. Picture Los Angeles in January of 1947. The war was over, Hollywood was booming, and the city was buzzing with hope, glamour, and opportunity. Elizabeth Short was a young woman in her early 20s, chasing a dream that so many people came to L.A. for: fame, or at least a shot at a better life. She was striking, jet black hair, pale skin, a fashion sense that stood out. People remembered her. She had this presence, like she belonged in the movies she admired so much. Friends said she loved attention, and she had a way of making heads turn without even trying. But her life wasn't as glamorous as her appearance. Elizabeth struggled to find stable work. She bounced around jobs, stayed with acquaintances, and was always kind of drifting, trying to make it. She'd been through heartbreaks, disappointments, and she was far from wealthy. In a way, she was like thousands of other hopefuls in Los Angeles, dreaming big but stuck in the reality of how hard it was to make those dreams come true. Then, on the morning of January 15th, 1947, everything changed. A woman walking with her young daughter through a vacant lot in South Los Angeles stumbled across something that didn't even look real at first. She thought it was a mannequin, cut in half, left out in the grass. But it wasn't a mannequin. It was Elizabeth Short's body. Her corpse was found brutally mutilated, cut clean in two at the waist. Her skin was drained of blood, her face slashed from the corners of her mouth all the way to her ears in a grotesque, Joker-like smile. The body had been carefully posed, almost theatrically, with her hands above her head. It was shocking, even for hardened detectives. The brutality of the crime was unlike anything they had ever seen before, and the image burned itself into the memory of everyone who heard about it. The newspapers went wild. This was the era when sensational headlines sold papers, and the Black Dahlia case was front-page news across the nation. The press nicknamed her the Black Dahlia, likely a play on a popular film at the time called The Blue Dahlia. The nickname stuck, and Elizabeth Short was forever immortalized in tragedy, her real identity overshadowed by dark legend. The investigation was massive. The LAPD was flooded with tips, suspects, and false confessions. More than 60 people came forward claiming responsibility, but none of them actually did it. Detectives questioned everyone who had crossed paths with Elizabeth in her final days: ex-boyfriends, actors, businessmen, military men, even doctors. They pieced together her last movements, but the trail always seemed to fade into confusion and uncertainty. And here's the thing that really gets under your skin. Whoever killed her didn't just murder her, they staged it. They wanted the world to see this. The precision of the cuts, the way her body was washed clean, the posing. It all suggested someone who knew exactly what they were doing, maybe even someone with medical training. That's where one of the biggest theories comes in, that her killer was a surgeon or someone in the medical field. One of the most infamous suspects was Dr. George Hodel, a wealthy and eccentric physician in Los Angeles. Years later, his own son, a former LAPD detective, became convinced that his father was the Black Dahlia killer. He dug into old evidence, recordings, and connections, and what he found was disturbing. Hodel had ties to the art world, surrealism, and he was known to have disturbing, even violent tendencies. On secret tapes, he was recorded saying things like, "Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia, they couldn't prove it now." It was chilling, but despite all the suspicion around Hodel, there was never enough concrete evidence to charge him. And that's the story of this case in a nutshell. Dead ends, theories, and no closure. The Black Dahlia murder became more than just a crime. It became a cultural obsession. Movies, books, TV shows, podcasts all keep revisiting the case, each one offering a new theory or angle. Some say it was a mob hit. Others think it was a jealous lover. Some even think it was a serial killer who went on to commit more murders. But no matter how many theories come up, the truth remains hidden. And what really haunts me about this story isn't just the brutality of the crime or the mystery that still hangs over it, it's Elizabeth herself. She is often remembered only as the Black Dahlia, a nickname tied to the way she died, but she was a real person with dreams, flaws, hopes, and a life ahead of her that was violently stolen. Friends described her as sweet, shy, and a little naive, someone who wanted love and adventure. Instead, she became a symbol of Hollywood's dark underbelly, of how a city of dreams can swallow people whole. Even today, if you walk through Los Angeles, you'll find tours that stop at the site where her body was found. You'll see books lining shelves in stores, promising to finally reveal the truth of who killed her. And you'll find online forums where people still argue, still chase the answer, still hope that one day, maybe, the case will finally be solved. But maybe that's the reason it never dies. The Black Dahlia case has become a ghost story for an entire city, a reminder that beauty and glamour can hide terrible darkness, and that some mysteries refuse to let go. When you think about Elizabeth Short, try not to only think about her as the victim of one of the most gruesome unsolved murders in history. Think about the young woman who wanted to make something of herself, who walked those LA streets full of hope, never knowing her name would live on forever in tragedy. The Black Dahlia isn't just an old, cold case. It's a mirror reflecting our fascination with mystery, horror, and the unanswered. And maybe that's why, even after all these years, we're still asking the same question. Who killed Elizabeth Short?